Chapter 1. Titans Awaken. The story begins where most endings are written in the quiet moments before everything changes. The year is 1588, and the winds of fate are gathering over the North Sea. The Dutch Republic, a fragile union of provinces, is still bruised from the long war against Spain, but in the shadow of conflict, something new stirs. A merchant in Amsterdam tightens the knots of a ledger, his ink-stained fingers counting profits from distant trades. A shipwright in Rotterdam hammers the first plank of a vessel that will outlast empires. And in the halls of power, a young admiral named Martin Tromp sharpens his blade, knowing the sea will soon demand more than just courage. This is the dawn of the Dutch Golden Age, a time when a nation of traitors, rebels, and dreamers would carve its name into the very fabric of the world. The Spanish had ruled the waves for centuries, their galleons heavy with gold from the Americas. But the Dutch, they were something else entirely. They were not conquerors by birthright, but by necessity. And necessity, as they would prove, is the mother of innovation. The first titans of this age were not kings or generals, but merchants. Men like Jacob van Heemskerk, whose ships slipped through the blockade like shadows, defying the might of Spain. They traded where others feared to sail, from the icy ports of the Baltic to the spice-laden islands of the East Indies. Their ledgers were their battle plans, their profits their victories. And with every voyage, the Dutch Republic grew stronger. But strength alone does not command the sea. It takes vision. And in the early 17th century, that vision belonged to a man named Willem Barents. A navigator and explorer, Barents dared to chart the unknown. His voyages into the Arctic, though ultimately tragic, proved that the Dutch could reach where others could not. His maps became the blueprints for an empire. And his legacy, a nation that would never again fear the horizon. Yet for all their ambition, the Dutch were not alone in their hunger for dominion. The English, the French, the Portuguese, they all eyed the same riches. And so the stage was set for a battle not just of ships, but of ideas. The Dutch had something no other power possessed. A republic built on trade, not tyranny. A society where merchants and admirals could rise from obscurity to greatness. And in this, they found their greatest weapon. The first true test came in 1602, when the Dutch East India Company was born. Not just a trading firm, but a corporate empire with its own armies, its own laws, its own destiny. It was a radical ideaprobate enterprise shaping the fate of nations. And it worked. Within decades, the VOC, as it was known, controlled more wealth than most kings could dream of. Its ships, sleek and fast, outmaneuvered the lumbering galleons of Spain. Its merchants, ruthless and cunning, outwitted the old powers at every turn. But the sea is a fickle mistress, and as the Dutch grew bolder, so too did their enemies. The Spanish, humiliated by years of losses, sought revenge. The English, under the fiery leadership of Charles I, saw the Dutch as rivals to be crushed. And the French, ever opportunistic, waited in the wings, ready to strike when the moment was right. Yet the Dutch did not falter. They adapted. They innovated. They fought. And in the process, they forged a legacy that would echo through the centuries. The Battle of Gibraltar in 1607 was a turning point. A small Dutch fleet, outnumbered and outgunned, faced down the mighty Spanish armada. What followed was not just a victory, but a statement. The Dutch were no longer robust, they were titans. And so, as the 17th century unfolded, the Dutch Republic stood at the precipice of greatness. Their ships dominated the trade routes. Their merchants dictated the flow of gold and spices. Their admirals, like Tromp and Ryder, became legends. But the greatest challenge was yet to come, for the sea, as they would soon learn, is a battlefield where only the bold survive. And so, the stage is set. The Titans have awoken. The winds of change are howling. And the world will never be the same.